empire to discredit Mueller. But first, new poll numbers. This is what a White House credibility crisis looks like. A new Washington Post ABC poll, released just a few hours ago, asked, do you think President Trump is honest and trustworthy or not? Only 33% said yes, he's honest. 65% said they do not believe he's trustworthy. This would be devastating for any White House, particularly for an administration that has only been on the job for 9 months. Let's talk through this and all the day's news with Kellyanne Conway, counselor to President Trump. She joins me now from the White House. Kellyanne, thanks for agreeing to be here.
Hi, Brian. My pleasure.
Given President Trump's historically low approval ratings, what specific steps are you and your colleagues taking to try to repair Trump's credibility?
So, Brian, I think that's the usual hyperbolic opening to one of the CNN segments. But let me tell you about the numbers that matter to Americans. The 1.5 million jobs created on his watch, the 54 record highs in the stock market closes, the consumer confidence level at a 17-year high, which means higher than both President George W. Bush and President Obama.
But 17-year,
excuse me,
about credibility?
Well, that is credibility to the people who are paying attention. Oh, it is. It is. Maybe not to CNN.
The American people are not giving him credit for the economic boom,
yes,
according to all of the polls.
Yes, they are. It depends on how you ask the question. I mean, you have the voice going through all of your promos saying CNN, the most trusted name in news. What evidence do you have of that? I've seen polling numbers to the contrary on that.
You're talking about
every
CNN instead of President Trump.
No. I'm happy to talk about President Trump. You interrupted me because I was going through what CNN refuses to cover about President Trump, which is the economic boon on his watch as president.
The economy is covered every day, Kellyanne. Kellyanne,
no,
that's like
Brian,
saying...
that's not true. But you just want to argue about it because you don't you say facts first. So I'm giving you the facts about the stock market, the 1.5 million jobs created.
I appreciate that, but what I asked is about President Trump's credibility and how the White House is repairing this credibility crisis. Do you have an answer to that question?
Yeah, here's the deal. The credibility crisis exists in the other party now. I just cannot believe the bombshell that Donna Brazile has launched, where she says that she was dealing with three, quote, Titanic egos: President Obama,
You know,
Hillary
I stopped
Clinton,
taking
and
Donna
Debbie
Brazile
Wasserman
seriously when she lied and when it was revealed that CNN fired her for giving debate questions to Hillary Clinton. I'm not here to ask you about Donna Brazile.
Excuse me, I think that's very unkind to Donna Brazile. She saw what we saw out there, which is a lack of enthusiasm for Hillary Clinton. She was worried, rightfully so, that the polls were wrong, including CNN's polling. I know you fired your pollster since.
With all due respect, Kellyanne, to ask you about
if you want to
President
talk about
Trump,
credibility, let's
not
talk
Hillary
about
Clinton.
Do
your internal polls also show him with
about
historically low approval ratings?
So you want to talk about approval ratings, and I'm telling you about the numbers that matter to Americans.
Because his approval ratings are shockingly low. It's a problem not just for you and for me, but for the nation, that this president is not trusted by the American people.
No, that's wrong. You know it's a problem for this nation. That you refuse. CNN used to be a place where people can tune in and get the news all day long. Now they get spin in people's opinions. And I think CNN should own it. Brian, why not just say, look, it's in our commercial interest at CNN to be anti-Trump. We're profitable if we're against the president. Most of our viewers are against the president. Just own it. Don't you think that would be more credible for CNN than
I
pretending that you're straight down the middle?
I understand that you don't want an adversarial media. I guess you just want everybody to be like Fox News.
Media.
State-run media?
No, that's not true. Stop being so jealous of Fox News, Brian, and their ratings. I think that would help if you drop the jealousy a little bit about Fox News. The fact is that we need a media that covers the facts. The fact is, if consumer confidence is at a 17-year high, that's relevant to the forgotten man or forgotten woman.
I agree, but Kellyanne, this is like a doctor walking in and saying... It's like a doctor walks in and says, you have cancer and it's spreading throughout your body. But the good news is your legs still work and your feet still work. It's great that I can walk, but I want to treat the cancer, Kellyanne, and that's why I'm asking you about his historically low approval ratings.
Well, I'm not going to buy into that awful analogy because I know many people suffering with terminal cancer right now, so I think it's a terrible analogy you just offered to the viewers. I want to tell you something about the president. He's on a historic trip to Asia. The country is watching that. They're listening to him directly, and they get the news directly from him. I know there's a lot of hand-wringing in the mainstream media that the country doesn't need you anymore to spin and filter what the president just said. They read his tweets when you read his tweets. It's a democratization of information. They don't need you to tell. They don't need you to tell them what the president just said. He's given a lot of press availability. Every time he's taking off from the South Lawn now, practically, he's talking to the press. I've been in the room several times last week when the president is answering questions to a live pool spray that have nothing to do with why we're there, like the cabinet meeting, the Ways and Means meeting the other day. There are many different actions by this president where he is very full and forthcoming, and he's answering these questions. I don't think that you can find a more transparent, more forthcoming president in recent times that is engaging with the media and usually spontaneously. I mean, isn't that refreshing?
I think it's laudable that he's been taking questions from the press. But I did think it was troubling when he said on Friday to the press corps that he's disappointed in the Justice Department. You're reasonable. You know it's disturbing to have a president trying to meddle in the Department of Justice.